日本語の通訳をご希望される方は、Zoom 画面の中央下にある通訳チャンネルを切り替えてください。日本語の通訳をご希望される方は、Zoom 画面の中央下にある通訳チャンネルを切り替えてください。Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to Japan and good afternoon to Costa Rica. My name is Maya Mizuno. I am a program coordinator of University for Peace and also MC for this event. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all here. 皆さん、ようこそ。Bienvenida. Before starting the event proper, I take a few moments to go over the housekeeping. If you have any questions, please go to the chat box and leave the questions there. The program schedule is quite tight and therefore we are afraid not be able to answer the questions today, but we will respond to you by email later. For the representatives of media, kindly put your name and organization on your Zoom account. We will call you when we begin the interview session after the program ends. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation and attention. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, now we start the program. Thank you very much for joining us today for the MoU signing ceremony between Hiroshima Business and Management School of Prefecture University of Hiroshima and University for Peace, and the Memoriam Forum with a title of Peace and Sustainable Management in the World with COVID-19. Hiroshima Business and Management School, so-called HBMS, and University for Peace, known as UPEACE, share the important mission of constructing a peaceful and sustainable world through education. The two universities celebrate to establish the partnership to develop future collaborations in research and training that bring an innovation to the society by applying academic as well as practical methods. This is very exciting initiatives that two universities begin. HBMS and UPEACE have the honor to present you this MoU signing ceremony and Memoriam Forum in commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombings, the 100th anniversary of Prefectural University of Hiroshima, and the 40th anniversary of UPEACE. First of all, I would like to invite Dr. Ken-ichi Nakamura, President of Prefectural University of Hiroshima, to give his opening remarks. Please welcome President Nakamura.
Thank you. It has been my great honor to meet President Dr. Araena and the distinguished faculty members of the University for Peace, UPEACE, to conclude this agreement for academic and educational exchange between UPEACE and the Prefectural University of Hiroshima, PUH, through online communication. On behalf of PUH, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your general preparation to bring this partnership to fruition. Our universities, UPEACE and PUH, share a common goal to achieve a blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet. I believe that our close academic and human cooperation will contribute to well-being and peace building for human and global society. I would also like to mention that This year is a memorial for both universities because the UPEACE and the PUH will celebrate their 40th and 106th anniversary, respectively. In these auspicious years, we are able to build a bridge across the Pacific Ocean between San Jose and Hiroshima. Let us begin the great cross over the bridge for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, President Nakamura. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Francisco Rojas Araena, Rector of UPEACE, to give his opening remarks. Please welcome Rector Francisco Rojas Araena.
Thank you very much. Good morning, President Ken-ichi Nakamura, Dean Yokoyama, colleague from the Prefectural University of Hiroshima, authorities of the city of Hiroshima, colleague from the University for Peace. Arigato gozaimasu. Our respect for the victims of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb. Our greeting to the city of peace, denuclearization and disarmament and peace. The United Nations emerged 75 years ago. Over 75 years, the United Nations has done a crucial job preventing war between the world's major powers. United Nations has significantly strengthened the founding of value of peace and security. In this 70.5 decade, United Nations has managed to produce basic stability in the international political system and to seed the promotion and defending human dignity. We live today a difficult time with the pandemic of COVID-19. The Prefectural University of Hiroshima commemorates a century of existence, a very significant anniversary, 100 years. Your institution has witnessed the ancient city, the bombing, the reconstruction, and the modern city of peace. You have contributed to the development of the city, concerned about its people, environment, and sustainability, and also for peace. The University for Peace was established by the United Nations General Assembly 40 years ago through the Resolution 3555 in 1980 to promote understanding, tolerance, and international cooperation. The UPEACE primary task is training generation of future leaders for sustainable development, peace building, and promotion of human rights. Tolerance, inclusion, diversity, and participation are the most characteristic of the education provided by the University for Peace. With the current context of high uncertainty, it's fundamental to promote and generate new questions and new framework of analysis to develop new paradigms for the new realities under construction are part of our intellectual challenge. On the 75th anniversary of the UN, 40th anniversary of the University for Peace, and centennial of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima, we emphasize the education for prevention, confidence building measures, and negotiation are fundamental to sustainable peace. Today, we will sign an important cooperation agreement between the Prefectural University of Hiroshima and the University for Peace. This agreement will allow us to advance in the formation of the new leader for promote peace towards in world capability facing the nuclear disarmament, climate change, and other global threats like the COVID-19. This partnership is important because we provide new ideas and new tools in the link between business, peace, and development. A new kind of leader to protect our common house. The new type of leadership where public and private partnership with sustainable development is crucial. To face the challenging world, we need to more and better knowledge, and this partnership will move in that direction. Let me say something personal. This act remember me of my visit to Hiroshima, to remember its park, the Monument for Peace, the commemoration of thousands of victims. Also, Miyajima and the Temple and the Sea, whose symbol is involved in your logo, Mr. President. The visit reaffirmed the motto of the University for Peace. If we want peace, work for peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rector Rojas. Now I'm honored to invite Mr. Hidehiko Yuzaki, Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture, to address his complimentary speech. Please welcome Mr. Hidehiko Yuzaki.
My great pleasure to express my heartfelt congratulations on the conclusion of the MoU between the University of Peace in Costa Rica and the Hiroshima Business and the Management School of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima. I'd like to congratulate all related parties on the two universities entering into this partnership, which has resulted from the endeavors of Dr.Francisco Rojas Araena, the Rector of the University for Peace, Dr. Juan Carlos Sainz-Borgo, Dean of the University, other professors, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Yoshiaki Ito of the Japanese Embassy in Costa Rica, and all other parties concerned. I would also like to send my congratulations on the centennial of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima and the 40th anniversary of the University for Peace. At this moment, COVID-19 is engulfing the world. I believe that the globalization of our economic activity is responsible for the spread of coronavirus across the world in such a short time. These viruses have been brought into human society through the expansion of human activities into the territories of animals and viruses. Infectious diseases have then spread all over the world by people pursuing economic activities and traveling from one country to another while carrying virus with them. COVID-19 has exacerbated existing social problems. To name a few, they include racial discrimination in the United States, escalating conflicts between the United States and China, problems related to freelancers in Japan, and fragile healthcare system in many countries, including developing countries, and surprisingly, also in European countries. Infecting both the rich and the poor, COVID-19 is causing societal crisis. At the same time, it also presents a great menace to individuals. In this sense, it's similar to global environmental challenges, causing disasters such as floods and shortages of food and water. Global environmental challenges comprise a global crisis, but at the same time, they threaten individuals living in every corner of the earth. The same is true of nuclear weapons. Although many people consider nuclear weapons to be related to national security, they are also a critical matter for each individual, since once they are used, individual people will be direct victims. In addition to endangering people's lives, the explosion of nuclear bombs will destroy our environment, cause radioactive contamination, and bring about a nuclear winter and famine. In other words, any use of a nuclear weapon will impact human security. I believe that various global challenges are related to business and the economy. As such, we can find their solutions from the standpoint of business and the economy. Furthermore, I believe that it is time for us to shift the present paradigm to how business and the economy address social problems. I feel this approach will lead us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and build a global peace. Given the progress of market and financial globalization, the importance of global peace is even increasing for companies, since peace provides a platform for business prosperity. To hold discussions on the involvement of business and the economy in peace building, in 2013, Hiroshima Prefecture began organizing the Hiroshima Business Forum for Global Peace. In 2016, we invited to this forum Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing. The forum was the first international conference to delve into the relationship between the marketing and peace building, and was themed the role of world business and marketing in realizing world peace. In fact, today, the fifth forum will open at 10 a.m. Japan time with distinguished guest speakers, including Dr. Jacques Attali, a French economist, on the theme, how we can proactively achieve peace leveraging SDGs in the post-COVID-19 world. In 2018, Hiroshima was designated as an SDGs future city by the Japanese government. In addition to the operation of the Hiroshima Business Forum for Global Peace, Hiroshima Prefecture is committed to fulfilling the SDGs through various programs, including the development of human resources to help build global peace. In this context, Hiroshima Prefecture embraces the great expectations of the two universities' efforts to fuse the peace studies of the University for Peace and Business Administration of the Hiroshima Business and Management School of the Prefecture University of Hiroshima to develop a new business management methodology for resolving social problems. I would appreciate it very much if you could cooperate with us in our efforts to resolve various social problems on a global basis through your partnership. As you're all aware, the day before yesterday marked the 75th year of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, the first nuclear attack in human history. Back then, people believed that not a single grass would grow for 75 years in the city, which had been completely destroyed by the atomic bomb. As the governor of Hiroshima, which has risen from the ashes of the devastation, I believe it's my mission to work towards realizing a peaceful international society free from nuclear weapons. It's my sincere hope that the agreement you are going to sign today will mark the beginning of a long-lasting partnership between the University for Peace and the Prefecture University of Hiroshima, and that both institutions will jointly clarify the correlations between the economy and peace, along with various related aspects, so that they will inspire peace movements in the economic and educational sectors. I also hope that the collaboration of the two universities will lead to the achievement of the SDGs and the realization of global peace. Finally, please allow me to conclude this greeting by again congratulating you on this achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Governor Yuzaki. Next, I'm honored to invite His Excellency Mr. Yoshiaki Ito, Ambassador of Japan, to address his complimentary speech through video. Please welcome Ambassador Mr. Yoshiaki Ito.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen in Costa Rica, and good evening to all who are watching us from Japan. I'm Yoshiaki Ito, Ambassador of Japan in Costa Rica. I'm fortunate to have been appointed as Ambassador to Costa Rica and for the past 3 years. I'm thankful to be stationed in these peace-loving, eco-friendly countries that values human rights. Take a look at the lush green mountain scenery from my desk. I believe no Japanese ambassador in the world has such a peaceful office view. This is the National Theater in San Jose, built in late 19th century. Pride of Costa Rican people. At the time, the country economy was flourishing thanks to coffee exports. Actually, this theater was built from the financial contribution from the coffee producing farmers. But just 100 years ago, the year when PUH was established, Costa Rica was attacked by a terrible and vicious intruder, the Spanish flu. In early 20th centuries, this pandemic started in a trench at the battleground of the First World War, where many lives were lost. Costa Rica was no exception of the effect of this virus. It was recorded that Costa Rica lost around 2,300 precious lives because of this disease. To contextualize 2,300 lives in 1920, the population of Costa Rica was only 500,000, less than half of the city of Hiroshima. In other words, if I were to compare with the current population of Hiroshima Prefecture, the damage would have been equivalent with almost 13,000 deaths in a year. It was a huge damage for Costa Rica. Regarding current COVID-19 situation, Costa Rica has lost about over 100 precious lives, including several foreign nationalities. However, taking into account global situation, especially neighboring countries in Latin America, Costa Rica is putting up a good fight against COVID-19. Maybe the reason is memory of the pandemic 100 years ago, resulting in a deep understanding the importance of the primary healthcare system to tackle against such vicious enemy virus. Let me explain another uniqueness of Costa Rica. This is a statue of former President Mr. Jose Figueres Ferrer, founding father of current peaceful Costa Rica and its second Republican period. In 1948, when Hiroshima City was liberating herself from a scorched ground by the atomic bomb, Costa Rica was going through the Civil War of 1948, one of the most serious outbreaks of political violence in the 20th century, where 2,000 students died. These were the blood holes from the battle. This building was used as a prison for political prisoners and later as headquarters of the government army. After the victory of the revolution force led by Jose Figueres, he proposed drafting a new constitution and to include a unique sentence that is, the army as a permanent institution is abolished. The 1949 constitution was overwhelmingly welcomed by the people until now serves as a pillar of peace for this country. Here is the other evidence of the virtue of peace accepted by the Costa Rican people. This is a statue of another former president, Mr. Oscar Arias Sanchez, Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1987, 33 years ago. The prize was given to him for his contribution to peace building in Central America, especially on the success of his meditation in the social and political conflicts that were taking place in between Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Very interestingly, many times he made reference to the sayings by a Japanese community activist who loves Costa Rica. Here is a Spanish translation. コスタリカの母親は幸せだ。 なぜなら自分の息子が兵隊になる心配がないから。Mother in Costa Rica is happier than the ones in other countries because she has no concern that his son is enlisted to army. In this unprecedented environment we live in today, we have to prepare ourselves for more challenging time ahead. It is not likely the virus will go away. Therefore, we have to adapt to COVID-19 and learn to live with it. What is critical is our mindset and spirit to press ahead, no matter how tough the odds are. There is no guarantee formula for success, but with our grit and resilience, our compassion and mindset of wanting to be the change agents of the future, we will collectively succeed. Certainly, the success has to be based upon peace and democracy. With that, I wish the two institutions success on this collaboration. Provida.
Thank you very much, Excellency Ambassador Mr. Ito. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, now we have reached to our signing ceremony. The signee representing University for Peace is Dr. Francisco Rojas, Araena, Rector of UPEACE. Please welcome Rector Rojas. And representing Prefectural University of Hiroshima is Dr. Ken-ichi Nakamura, the President of Prefectural University of Hiroshima. Please welcome President Nakamura. The Memorandum of Understanding for Academic Partnership between Prefectural University of Hiroshima and University for Peace is successfully signed. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause to both representatives. Thank you very much for your witness. To move on, we're going to listen to the presentation on Hiroshima delivered by Ms.Mariko Nishizawa, Counselor of Hiroshima Peace Promotion Network, and then follow the video on introduction of HBMS. Please welcome Ms. Nishizawa.
This is an overview of Hiroshima Business and Management School, HBMS. Japan is an archipelago located 13,268 kilometers east of Costa Rica across the Pacific Ocean. Hiroshima Prefecture, where HBMS is based, is found in the southwest of the capital city of Tokyo. Hiroshima Prefecture boasts an abundance of natural resources and luscious landscapes such as mountain ranges, rivers, and the sea. For instance, in terms of natural resources, Hiroshima Prefecture is particularly known for their oysters. Nationally, it boasts the highest production quantity in Japan. The national production quantity of lemons is also highest in Hiroshima Prefecture, and its quality is proven by the value and trust attributed to the name brand, Hiroshima Lemons. Moreover, in the past, magnetic sand proved to be abundant nearby the mountainous regions of the prefecture. This is a valuable natural resource for metal production, which galvanized the automobile industry, one major local brand being Mazda, which is renowned internationally. Another industry that thrived in Hiroshima due to the abundance of metal and other raw materials was shipbuilding. Subsequent to shipbuilding and processing, various products such as files, fishing rods, and needles, were produced in conjunction with metal production. Hiroshima is home to 2 World Heritage Sites. Countless tourists visit Hiroshima each year to immerse themselves in the rich culture and history of the region. Management. At HBMS, we endeavor to cultivate critical thinkers with the ability to identify and address pressing global issues from a holistic perspective. Problems that exist in Hiroshima may have locally identifiable solutions. Likewise, global challenges can be approached from a domestic as well as an international outlook. The main campus of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima can be found in Hiroshima City. Originally, the university campus was known as the Prefectural Girls High School of Hiroshima. This year marks the 100th anniversary since the inception of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima. There are 3 campuses located across the prefecture: Hiroshima City, Shobara, and Mihara. The Hiroshima City campus encompasses 9 departments and faculties at the undergraduate and graduate level combined. These are some of the faculties and departments which can be found across the 3 campuses. One overarching vision of the Prefectural University of Hiroshima is to be a university trusted by local residents. In particular, the development of education and research models to benefit the society at large is the most important mission of the university. We strive for excellence in education and research to make sure the benefits of the university are reaped by all residents of the prefecture and beyond. Contribution to the region. HBMS at the Prefectural University of Hiroshima was established in April of 2016 as the first ever institution in the Chugoku region dedicated to the pursuit of management at the postgraduate level. The acronym HBMS stands for Hiroshima Business and Management School. Is the gateway to obtaining an MBA in an intimate setting of 25 students per class on average. Educating the next generation business leaders to manage diversity and shared values. A wide array of experiences and distinguished professional academics. Social system design, consensus building, agriculture, natural resource, healthcare, social innovation, IoT, disaster mitigation, environment, diversity, food system, community development, commons, sustainability. We believe the journey to reach the middle ground between peace and management will be integral in understanding the need for peace in this world. Expand your vision. Change the future.
Now I'd like to explain the peace administration of Hiroshima Prefecture. Hiroshima Prefecture is one of the most active local governments in peace administration in Japan. When the incumbent governor Yuzaki took office in 2009, he sought for advice on the mission and role of Hiroshima from world-renowned scholars and former foreign ministers and formulated the Hiroshima for Global Peace Plan in 2011. It was made clear from this that Hiroshima has dual symbolism. Hiroshima both offers firm determination for abolishing nuclear weapons and also belief or faith in reconstruction and hope for the future, Thus, Hiroshima pursues peace efforts towards the abolishment of nuclear weapons and comprehensive post-conflict reconstruction and building peace. Lastly, by establishing mechanisms to support these activities, the plan envisions that the long-cherished wish of hibakushas to realize a peaceful international society without nuclear weapons will be accomplished. Next, let's take a look at Hiroshima's concrete activities. Firstly, the dissemination of peace messages. So far, the prefecture has made approaches to world leaders to come to Hiroshima. In response, President Obama came in 2016 as the first sitting president of the United States to visit Hiroshima, and His Holiness Pope Francis visited in 2019. Both disseminated peace messages from Hiroshima to the world. The prefecture has hosted various international conferences, especially on disarmament, such as the Foreign Ministers' Meeting of Non-Proliferation and Disarmament Initiative, NPDI, the UN Disarmament Conference, and so on. We have also cooperated with the United Nations and participated in the NPT Preparatory Committee and the Review Conference. There, we held a side event and presented the result of our research and exchanged opinions with government representatives on nuclear disarmament. On another note, the prefecture annually publishes the Hiroshima Report, which analyzes and evaluates the efforts of 35 countries toward nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and nuclear security. The report's goal is to create international momentum towards the abolition of nuclear weapons and to promote new initiatives by individual countries toward nuclear disarmament. In August, we annually convene a multilateral forum called the Hiroshima Roundtable to discuss and promote nuclear disarmament and arms control in East Asia. The prefecture has also tackled the issue of nuclear deterrence, the main reason why states possesses nuclear weapons, and has searched for new security policies in collaboration with world top research institutes. So far, we have made cooperation agreements with UNIDIO, PRIO, and CIPLI in 2017 and Chatham House in 2018. But by adding Nuclear Threat Initiative, NTI, and JIA, the Japan Institute of International Affairs, we established the International Network for Research on Nuclear Disarmament last year and plan to proceed with our research and their operations in a more systematic way. Another pillar is reconstruction and building peace. In Hiroshima, we have a UN organization, United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR, through which we operate human resource development in post-conflict countries, including Afghanistan, Iraq, and South Sudan. The prefecture has also implemented educational assistance to Cambodia and human resource development for the local autonomous body of the Mindanao, the Philippines. In the field of reconstruction and peace-building research, we aim to apply Hiroshima's knowledge about reconstruction for human resource development in post-conflict and disaster-hit countries. We also have high school students program and online program to support the next generation. In addition, we have launched a new training program for potential future leaders in Hiroshima with the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, ICAN, last year. Lastly, we have been working on peace and economy for 7 years now, holding the Hiroshima Business Forum for Global Peace to promote peace from SDGs point of view. In 2016, we invited Professor Philip Kotler, a world marketing guru, and held the world's first conference on the theme Marketing Peace. We have deepened our understanding of the importance in mutual cooperation among diverse actors, including governments, companies, NGOs, and local communities. These efforts, centered on the SDGs 16, were recognized by the national government, and the prefecture was designated as one of the SDGs future cities in Japan in 2018. This time, we hope to have an extra boost by the conclusion of the MoU between the University for Peace and Hiroshima Business and Management School. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nishizawa. Next, we are going to watch the video on introduction of UPEACE and listen to the presentation on Costa Rica and sustainable development delivered by Professor Jan Breitling from Department of Environment and Development of UPEACE.
We live in a world of conflict. War and violence are present every day. The threat of nuclear devastation persists. Traditional conflicts persist and increase all over the world, while new hybrid conflicts result in more violence, millions of displaced persons, most of them women and children, and countless deaths. Additionally, climate change endangers the potential well-being of mankind and lessens the possibilities of a dignified life for future generations. Have you asked yourself, how can I be a part of the solution to these challenges? The University for Peace in Costa Rica was created by the UN General Assembly with the purpose of using the most valuable and effective resource that society possesses to secure the future of humankind. This resource is education. The new Sustainable Development Goals require our commitment. Objective 16, which focuses on peace, justice, and strong institutions, is our north at UPEACE. We invite you to come be a part of an academic experience that provides a space for theoretical and practical learning among an experienced support community of practitioners in the fields of peace and conflict resolution. An institution of higher education for peace with the aim of promoting among all human beings the spirit of understanding, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. This is our mission. Come study at the UN-mandated University for Peace and join thousands of UPEACE alumni who are actively contributing to the creation of a more peaceful and sustainable world for all.
When we talk about peace and sustainable development, we strongly believe that one cannot exist without the other. There can only be true peace through and with sustainable development. And there can only be a truly sustainable development when there is peace. Costa Rica has taken important actions regarding peace and sustainable development. It abolished its army in 1948, which had two major consequences for the country and its citizens. First, it showed that the country can rely on international law to address conflict. And second, it allowed the country to free up important financial resources, which were then used to strengthen or building up strong institutions that have benefited Costa Rican society until today. Specifically, these resources were invested in strong public health and education sectors. Having universal public health care and education made it possible for Costa Rica to become one of the most equal societies on the American continent. These factors contributed and still contribute directly to peace and to the social and economic aspects of sustainable development. Now, what about the environmental dimension of sustainable development? Due to its geographical characteristics, Costa Rica is very rich in biodiversity. And the country has done huge efforts towards the conservation and protection of its ecosystems and natural resources. So around 25% of its land area is under some kind of protection status. This richness in biodiversity has also allowed Costa Rica to become known for its nature-based tourism, or ecotourism, giving economic value to nature and producing economic value for the country in a sustainable way. Now, our Master of Arts degree in Responsible Management and Sustainable Economic Development, or RAMSET, emphasizes economic and management perspectives of peace, while focusing on the concepts of sustainability and responsibility. Its creation was based on the belief that to better contribute to the promotion of sustainable peace, it is imperative to explore what role the economy plays in the world today and its impact on our environment and society's well-being. Issues of rural and urban poverty, growing inequalities and disparities, environmental degradation, financial crises, and globalization are challenging the political economic stability and social cohesion in all societies. Modern society faces the growing challenge of sustainability, finding solutions that will maintain and protect social, economic, and environmental systems for future generations. So our students, the students from the RAMSET program, will become responsible managers with strong emphasis on sustainability that will be able to work in the corporate sector, in the public sector, or in the social sectors, both in industrialized and developing countries.
Thank you very much, Professor Breitling. Now I would like to invite Professor Cats, Head of Department of HBMS, to give his greetings. Please welcome Professor Edo.
Good morning, Japan. Good evening, Costa Rica. Though there was a brief explanation of our university and HBMS before, many people are still wondering, what is HBMS? What is it for? What is HBMS doing? Let me introduce our purpose, vision, and mission first. Our purpose is to solve economical, ethical, and environmental issues for Hiroshima and the world. Many MBAs emphasize on economical and management issues, but our purpose is focusing on ethical and environmental issues for sustainable development. Under our purpose, we have our visions to create presence as one-of-a-kind style MBA program leader in the Asian Pacific Global Network. As said before, the university has objectives to be trusted and relied from our local citizens, and HBMS aim to be an MBA, which is based on its original local society and culture. For our future visions, we seek missions to create next generation leaders who have capability to solve current regional issues from the perspective of individual, organizational, and common values. This means that our educational system contributes for the skills and careers, not only for the individuals, but also for the affiliation and the entire society which one belongs to. The HBM's purpose states that we shall apply to the drastic changes in the world. Issues all over the world, such as climate change, fair trade, poverty, will be your own businesses to all individuals and organizations. Therefore, our key concept is to study, research, and educate in an integral way for the economy, environment, and ethics. We believe that during and even after the COVID-19, this concept will be an essential one. Solving issues in the real complex world, a single approach is not useful anymore. In order to create the next generation leaders, we propose the methodologies of systematic, design, and management approach. We provide fundamental and basic courses for each approach, along with the interdisciplinary, combined ways of thinking. To achieve our mission, HBMS are challenging for the both global and local network. Since our establishment in 2016, strong relationships between our Asian Pacific partners has made progress in our studies and research. In Hiroshima, there are unique companies that are making sales globally. For example, the rubber processing industry from the early 20th century developed companies like Molten and Mikasa, manufacturing high-quality balls that are used as official balls in the Olympic Games. We also work and collaborate with the local companies as well as these global companies. Especially, we are focusing on companies in the 3 areas. They are healthcare, agriculture and food, and small and medium-sized enterprises. One partner we are working with is Aohata. Aohata processes food to jam and one of the leaders in the industry. The headquarters is in the eastern part of Hiroshima Prefecture. Executive Director of Aohata, Mr.Iko Hatsukade, sent us a message for today's signing ceremony for HBMS and UPEACE. He was born in Hiroshima in 1945 on the year of the atomic bomb. We requested if he could show up today, but unfortunately, he's under treatment and in hospital. 75 years is such a long time, and as many can realize, the issue of handing down the experience of wartime is getting more and more difficult in even Hiroshima. Let me read his message on behalf of Mr. Hatsukade. Aohata's production system is based on honesty, trust, and wa, its harmonization. Hiroshima, the place of our foundation, we shall continue to manufacture our offerings supported by human-centered technology, which is honest, trustworthy, and well harmonized for people and the nature. In the Japanese context, wa is the true meaning of peace. We expect that the new program at HBMS and UPEACE will expand the minds of wa throughout the globe so that the world can overcome all the conflicts, not among people, but also between human civilization and nature in the past centuries. As Mr. Hatsukade mentioned in his words, HBMS future might be condensed to wa, which has a diverse meaning in Japanese. The character could be used for the meaning peace, harmony, sun, or integrity, and even an adjective use as in washoku, which means Japanese food. The word wa is a very conceptual word which we have to face in the Japanese culture, and we are confident that this concept will lead us to solving issues in the next decade, till the goals of SDGs in 2030. In this decade, we shall establish research centers, programs with UPEACE, and courses concerning wa for the sustainable and developing environment.
Thank you very much, Professor Edo. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Juan Carlos Sainz-Borgo, Dean of UPEACE, to give his greetings. Please welcome Dr. Sainz-Borgo.
Good morning, everyone in Japan. Good evening here in Costa Rica. On behalf of the University for Peace and all the faculty members, I would like to express our gratitude for this opportunity to work together in this new agreement between the two institutions. This will give us the opportunity to continue the mission that was granted by the General Assembly of the United Nations in order to promote the peace through education. As our Rector, Francisco Rojas, already stated, the main goal of the university is to prepare human resources around the world for the task of peace. The way that the university interprets this mandate is in a very holistic way. As already was explained by Professor Jan Breitling, the development and sustainability is a key element, but also we combine with the study of the human rights and the peace and conflict analysis. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the people who have worked hard for this opportunity, especially our colleague Maya Mizuno, who has worked tirelessly on this opportunity, as well as all the staff of the team of the University in Hiroshima. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dean Sainz-Borgo. Now, it is my pleasure to start the video of the keynote speech delivered by Professor Yoshinori Yokoyama, Dean of HBMS. Please welcome Professor Yoshinori Yokoyama.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yoshinori Yokoyama. I'm the Dean of HBMS, Hiroshima Business and Management School. The greetings from the other side of the Pacific. I was extremely pleased with this kind of new development, the relationship between Costa Rica and Japan and UPEACE and HBMS. Let me start with my personal experience. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago, I visited Costa Rica as a tourist. And I was extremely impressed by the guide I used. She explained Costa Rica, naturally, she's a guide, tour guide. That every time he explained about Costa Rica, he said, we are very proud of Costa Rica, and we are very happy. We are the happiest people in the world. Now, I didn't ask you, but he said every time he explained Costa Rica. And what is so good about Costa Rica? Well, we don't have army. Really? I said, and we abolished army a long time ago. And I was sort of astounded. There is a country without army, right? So that was my first impression of Costa Rica. And they are not talking about it. They acted on it. And it's a very difficult decision, especially in early 1940s, right? It was not an easy time to abolish the entire army. Think about the word peace. It's a very abstract word, but for me, it's not a personal experience. Think about my age. I experienced a bomb in Hiroshima. I was 2.5 years old. I still remember the sound of the bomb and the light. And after that, excuse me, after that, there was a lot of sad stories, which I don't want to talk about this time, but it's part of my memory. So yes, it's a good thing to combine the study of peace and the study of management. It's a good idea, but the combination is one thing, and create some tangible result is another. Just talking about peace and management will not create any tangible actions. So I propose the steps to reach some kind of a tangible result, hopefully, And one is design. And second is system. And third is management, because it's not the natural development of the peace action. Peace action is very concrete, but it's so fragmented at this time. So we have to make it some kind of system, that we design the system so that people can take actions according to this system. Then you manage this system, and then you can review it jointly and provide ideas, and then you move into improvement to the next system, and gradually you will have some kind of tangible result, hopefully. That's my idea, and I hope this is the first step. Today is the first step to take this kind of action. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Yokoyama. Next, we are going to watch the keynote speech delivered by Dr.Olivia Sylvester, Head of Department of Environment and Development of UPEACE. Her speech title is Food Security in the Post-Corona World. She will speak about the actions to be taken to construct a sustainable food production system in the time of COVID-19 and the role of business. Please welcome Dr. Olivia Sylvester.
Today I would like to share about food security in relation to peace and sustainable development. I will provide some background on our global food security situation, and finally I will discuss some post-COVID actions to build a food production system that is more sustainable, and we'll discuss how businesses have a key role in these actions. Food security exists when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy lifestyle. Unfortunately, even before the current pandemic, in 2019, over 800 million people a year went hungry, and 2 billion were undernourished, and these numbers are now on the rise. The global pandemic has exacerbated food insecurity and does not affect everyone equally. Inequality is at the heart of food insecurity. First, the economically poor are forced to make decisions about the quality of food they purchase with their monthly budgets, and this has resulted in the purchase of cheaper, highly processed, and nutritionally poor food. Second, global analyses have illustrated that women can be disproportionately food insecure when compared to men. Recent studies on crises illustrate that women skip meals or eat less during household food shortages, leaving the food available for other family members. Thus, in cases where women have less resources, lower quality food, and/or are hit by economic hardship, they will continue to be more vulnerable. And third, smallholder farmers have less power than large corporations that produce and sell food, and this directly affects their food security. Our dominant food system model is a system of high-intensity production where we produce very few food items like rice, corn, wheat, or soy, and large corporations disproportionately profit at each stage of the process. Smallholder farmers are losing land fast and have less economic capital to buffer their losses in moments of crisis. My own research in Costa Rica over the past few months illustrates that some smallholder farmers can't compete during the COVID pandemic due to people frequenting markets less often, and these farmers have had to look for other work and have even had to resort to selling their resources and land. The sale of their assets and loss of customers opens up spaces for those with high economic capital to continue to accumulate wealth and perpetuate inequality. Who manages our food production matters. For example, do we want to consume food from the scenes above in the picture or the scenes below? What kinds of jobs do we want for our societies? At the heart of these pictures are the values that we prioritize. Do we value respect for people and respect for land, our natural resources such as water and soil? One of the key questions today is, how do we move forward in a post-COVID world? What will our priorities be? What values will be at the core of sustainable development? Food security is an excellent topic to analyze what societies value and why. Here I will discuss a few points that need attention if our goal is to mobilize communities in a harmonious manner to promote peace and sustainable development. First, and fundamentally, we need to increase protections for the most vulnerable. We need to address these vulnerabilities, and to do so, we need a suite of health and societal reforms, including increased access to healthy food for all. And for this, we need at least a few things. 1, fair wages and gender equity. 2, more sustainable business models for food production, those that consider farmers' rights and the health of the land and people. Second, we need to rebalance economic power for public good. While states have provided subsidies and support for large industrial farming operations during COVID, there is comparatively little support globally for smallholder farmers. Third, we need more sustainable food production, and this needs to be based on the values of peace with the land and with regard to human health. For decades since the Green Revolution, farming has increasingly adopted an industrial model of food production that's based on yields at the cost of soil and human health. Soils, rivers, water sources are increasingly contaminated with toxic chemicals, and this is also in the food we feed people. Agroecology, or farming with environmentally friendly and socially just and peace principles, has been widely promoted by scientists, activists, and international organizations. Recently, agroecology has been promoted within the UN as a solution to work towards all 17 Sustainable Development Goals to ensure food security, healthy lives, to reduce inequity and poverty, to restore ecosystems, and to promote peace. I would like to conclude with one observation. This pandemic has shown that governments can intervene to realign economic activities for the public good. We need to ask how this can be applied to make it a priority that food and agriculture businesses also operate with such values, including values of social justice and environmental protection. We have key examples in the world where these initiatives are underway. For instance, during this pandemic, some governments have declared local farmers essential businesses. Some businesses now operate with socially and environmentally conscious models, such as fair trade or equal exchange business models that aim to raise and stabilize farmer incomes, promote labor rights, and eliminate toxic pesticides. Youth are also creating startups that value health, people, and Mother Nature, such as this herbivore farm, one of Mumbai's first local hydroponic urban farms. Food is central to life. The values that we mainstream in our food production are a reflection of how we value human life and the environment. In our current food system, not everyone can access healthy food, and this is linked to gender, economic status, race, and other social differences. Farmers are rarely those that profit most in food production, and in industrial agriculture, our land, our soil, and our water are on the losing end. One key element of peace building is the restoration of relationships. In a post-COVID world, restoring our relationship with food and the land it is produced on is one key point of departure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sylvester. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, now we will begin the Memoriam Forum. I would like to pass the floor to Professor Narumi Yoshikawa to facilitate the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maya Mizuno from Costa Rica. Señoras y señores, buenos días. I'm Narumi Yoshikawa, Professor of HBMS. It is my pleasure to have Memorial Forum from here, Hiroshima. The world has been experiencing drastic change due to the critical impact of COVID-19. We are challenging to bring a new way to reconstruct the system as surviving from virus, not only physically, but also economically and socially. While COVID-19 pushes a shift towards the deglobalizations and the strategy of isolationism, the peace studies as well as business and management studies have a vital role to address new values and practice to mobilize the communities in a harmonious manner. The purpose of this forum to share our ideas, our concept, and the necessary skills and methods on values, resources, and policies should be addressed to achieve peace, sustainable management in this new normality in the world with COVID-19. In advance, we discuss about the project, the subject, each faculty member of UPEACE and HBMS, and leads to resume the 6 keywords. So let's get started our memorial forum. At first, Dr. Olivia and I will share the suggestion on keyword of resources. So Dr. Olivia, could you give us your suggestion for it?
Yes, my suggestion is diversity. Should I explain now a little bit about diversity?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. So I chose diversity when I wanted to, or was requested to talk a little bit about the word resources for peace and sustainable management. And diversity means many things, but first we need a diversity of natural resources, first and foremost, for sustainable management. This may mean a diversity of habitats for water, for food, for environmental security, and as well, we need a diversity of resources for climate change adaptation. We also need a diversity of people if we want to manage our resources in a socially just way. Resource management has been long carried out from a Western scientific perspective, and that perspective has also been highly male-dominated. There's work needed to be done to create meaningful opportunities for a diversity of people, of social differences, of different genders, class, ethnic backgrounds to influence resource management. And third, we need a diversity of knowledge for peace. So when we think about managing resources, many people, many societies have different worldviews on how to do that. Some people see our resources as commodities to extract, harvest, and use. And for other people, resources such as water or plants are living beings that are equal to humans. So if we want peaceful management, then we need to make spaces for other peoples, other knowledges, indigenous peoples, and opening up these spaces is central to development that's respectful of people and human rights.
Thank you very much. What is the necessary skills or method for the concept of diversity? Let me answer in response to Dr. Olivia. My answer is here, commons design. COVID-19 reveals uncertainty and vulnerability in the huge-scale agricultural food industries. It is necessary to create as commons without dividing food and agriculture. Local farmers and consumers also needed to share the risk, climate change, and disasters, and to participate economically and mentally in farm management to support each other. We are planning to design a distribution such as CSA style, community-supported agriculture style, and utilize local productions for local consumption by joint management, common resources as the center of the food supply system. Actually, currently, 80% of world's food is produced by small-scale family farming, which accounts for over 90% of total number of agricultural management entities in the world. The United Nations has designated 2019 to 2028 as the decade of family agriculture. As you know, Costa Rica is a representative and 104 countries, including Japan, being so co-sponsors. So it is necessary to design modern commons that connected traditional wisdom and social wisdom to maintain community diversity, to accelerate, to integrate highly productive agricultures and supply system. So we should promote all forms the partnership between producers and local consumers as a solution to the problems of global intensive agricultural production and distributions. Thank you very much. And so we should move to the next keyword of policies. So let me invite Dr. Juan Carlos and Mariko Nishizawa. The first, Dr. Juan Carlos, could you please give us your suggestions?
Morning again. My word is inclusion.
Thank you.
The situation unleashed by the COVID-19, the pandemic, has made visible or deep many inequities that show the need to work for inclusion. What inclusion means? Children, elderly people, people with disabilities, or even poverty are creating more vulnerable groups in which we have to work for. The idea that we are a 21st century society with access to internet, with access to all the resources, has proven that it's not true. As a result, that was very well explained by my colleague Olivia Sylvester before, women and all these elements of the gender have to be taken in account to work for the inclusion. And as the motto of the Agenda 2030 explains very well, leave no one behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So nice and beautiful message. And from here, I would like to call Ms.Mariko Nishizawa of Local Governance of Hiroshima, please.
Yes, my keyword is citizen empowerment and participation system. We are tackling the issue of nuclear weapons, and one of the most difficult parts of this issue is that most of the world's citizens think that nuclear weapons is not their issue, but rather someone else's problem. Then how can we make a change? The structure of global issues, including climate change, a global pandemic such as COVID-19, and nuclear weapons are all similar in this sense. People blame their government for doing nothing. However, it is citizens who govern their governments, and citizens themselves which are often the cause of the problems. So this means in order to change the government and its policies, citizens must change first and share their each value. If you look at the examples of Me Too government, Me Too movement, Fridays for Future movement, and Black Lives Matter movement, it is clear that if you try to make changes to the world, it has to be bottom up. These movements are starting to now reaching policymakers and leadership. So I believe the essence of leadership would be to enabling young people to contribute, innovate, take creative approaches, organize, connect with each other, share experiences and each value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariko. It's very strong and important message. We can change the world. And last session is about the value. I would like to invite Professor Yang and Professor Cat Edo to show the final comments. So, Dr. Yang, could you please explain your concept to the value for the post-corona world?
So my word would be sufficiency. And I think that, as we have said before, COVID, climate change, many conflicts are or can be linked to this economic system that we have come up with, which is focused on infinite economic growth. And many of these global environmental and social problems that we are facing today could be seen as symptoms of that system, of a system that is not working, right? So I think it's really important that we redefine what well-being means, that we get away from this idea of infinite growth. It's also just not logical to think that we can grow, economically speaking, forever when we are inside a finite system, right? The planet is a physical being that has limits. So we need to focus on a new economic paradigm, I guess, which focuses on much more on well-being for most people. It should focus on peace. It cannot be, we cannot go on focusing only on profit for shareholders. Companies should have other objectives, like what I just said, like well-being and the well-being of societies and of individuals. That's why I think sufficiency is something that is necessary if we want to reach a truly sustainable form of development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang. It's very beautiful word. I think it's so familiar concept to Japanese people. So now we are going to ask Professor Edo to present necessary skills and methods towards the comment of Dr. Yang. Please.
Okay, thank you, Nari. My keyword is peace, marketing, and management. As Dr. Yan said, sufficiency, as we may say, satisfaction in the marketing terminology, comes from the confirmation and disconfirmation of expectation and performance. Changing attitudes and behavior is the main role of marketing. And therefore, marketing has a significant role under the circumstances during the post-COVID-19 to change the sufficient and satisfaction scheme. Really, if you want to be sufficient, you have to lower down your expectation, but that's not really realistic in a fulfilled world right now. So what we have to do is to change our values and completely in another dimension. One of marketing's important function is to change the people's values and lifestyles. The possible dimension of changing our values will be using the ideas of peace. We are spending our time right now with fiercely fighting with COVID-19, but it may be time to think about changing our minds, not fighting, but living together with COVID-19, and at the same time, so that the economical and environmental values would be won and shared. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Edo. So could you wrap up the forum?
Okay, thank you very much. Let's wrap up because we are probably running out of time. Okay, today's discussion was probably about the future sustainability's roles and issues that we are facing during and after the COVID-19. Significant keywords from the perspective of resources, policies, and values were proposed by our panelists. One thing that we could realize from the discussion is that the most of the ideas and methods are not so unfamiliar in the Japanese society. For example, as many people know, mottainai is a daily used word in the Japanese culture, which has association with sufficiency. Though most of the citizens in Japan are Japanese, we take in cultures from all around the world, even if we aren't religious. Maybe we can call this the Japanese style of diversity. To wrap up this session, I think we have reached to a conclusion that there is an important concept that we have to deal with during and after COVID-19 for sustainable and peace management. The idea, we say, and I just propose, is wa. It's not just peace. It's not just harmonization. I think we really have to think about much more about this concept. This idea shall be discussed in our Sustainable and Peace Management Research Center, which will be established with HBMS and UPEACE in Hiroshima. Here, we might discuss this from the approaches of system, design, and management. We would like to have any participation from our audience today so that sustainable and economical issues could be in harmony. And finally, on behalf of HBMS and the university, I would like to give our appreciations to our guests, Governor Yuzaki, Ambassador Ito, the faculty and staff of UPEACE and HBMS. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Edo. So now is the time of ending our forum. So we will pass back MC to Maya Mizuno. Thank you very much from Hiroshima. Maya Mizuno to San Jose, Costa Rica, please.
Thank you, Professor Yoshikawa. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the end. On behalf of Prefecture University of Hiroshima and University for Peace, thank you everyone for gracing our ceremony and forum with your presence. We appreciate your participation and support. I end my duty as a master of ceremony for today's event with blessings. Thank you. Wish you all a pleasant day. Thank you. This Zoom platform will be closing in 1 minute. Professors, please stay here because we are going to have an interview session with the media representatives.